2020-248, and again, it's in your handouts. You don't have to go looking for it. You can download it. What does this do to try to make things easier? Well, it does a number of things. And for those of you who don't do a lot of collection, I want to just explain some of this. So I hope I don't bore those of you who are collection experts. But one of the first things it does is it extends the short-term payment plan from 120 days to 180 days. So let me explain. If you've ever had this, the client will call and say, look, I owe money, I just need some time, right? Now, we get a lot of that, right? We get a lot of that because, we're in Connecticut, and the southern, first of all, it's everywhere, but especially here, the southern part of Connecticut, for those of you not from the area, has some really uber wealthy areas that you've probably heard of. Greenwich, Westport. I believe at one point Fairfield County was the wealthiest county in the United States. I find that a little hard to believe given Orange County in California and Manhattan, but for a time it was. So we often will get people that they get jammed up. Their bonus is delayed, or they're waiting on a deal to close. We have hedge fund people who are worth tens of millions and say, look, I just don't have liquid cash. Can you buy me some time? Well, there's this short-term payment plan. And what the IRS says is, look, we're going to give you 4 months. Just, no 433, no financials. We're just going to agree you're going to pay this thing in 4 months. We won't file a notice of lien, and it's just paid and done. We don't want your 433 and all your backup. Well, that's been extended to 6 months. So if you have a client that just needs some time, you can make a phone call and say, hey, we need the short-term payment plan. They just need to get the money together. Now, here's the other thing. I want to come back to this because there's a strategy when you combine it with the $250,000 streamlined, all right? And we'll get there. But one of the things that IR 2020-248 does is it used to be 4 months. Now it's 6 months. A couple other things. If you're unable to meet your payment obligations under an offer in compromise. So what happens with an offer, there are two types of offers. There's a lump sum offer, and there's a short-term deferred. Now, for those of you who are really interested in this, you probably saw from the NATP, on January 7th, we're doing an 8-hour program. It's the civil and criminal tax consequences of a complicated relationship. It's an actual case. He's having an affair, criminal investigate because they were skimming money. He's having an affair. He and the bookkeeper are skimming money. It was a criminal case, ended up getting referred back to civil through a lucky break, ended up in tax court. They're getting divorced. She files for innocent spouse. We do an offer and compromise for him. The NATP has a discount for that if you're interested. So we're going to be going through a lot of this detail then. But when you do an offer, there are these two options. There's a lump sum, and there's a deferred. So the deferred is very simple. You're going to pay it over 24 months. So you submit the offer, and you have to make your first monthly payment and continue making monthly payments while it's pending. And if it's accepted, you keep going, but it can't be longer than 24 months. A lump sum offer is you offer this lump sum amount of money right here. In both cases, you're making an offer. But with the lump sum, 20% goes down when you submit the offer. The other 80% was due 5 months after the date of acceptance. For people that are already in an offer that because of coronavirus ran into a problem where they couldn't make the payments. So I've had 2 clients call me, their offers were accepted, and then coronavirus, the company, their business shut down. They just they can't come up with the 80%. You could call the government and they literally would put that on hold. Now, here's the problem with it. It says temporary. If you ask them what temporary means, so far, they've been unable to answer that. So what I'm telling clients is hurry up and get the money. I don't know how long this is going to last. And what I'm afraid of, and those of you who deal with the IRS, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. One day, we're just going to get a letter from them that they're rejecting the offer because the client defaulted. All right, so that's what I'm concerned about.